Do your finances feel like a dartboard in a bar? Are you a financial snail? Teddy bear? What about a turtle? Or maybe a grasshopper? Could playing a fun and exciting game about spending money help improve your financial darts? To figure it out, I am making a game about the exciting role of a financial advisor. A financial advisor might surprise you. If you are still working, then they may tell you you're probably worth way more than you think. In a little bit, I will explain why you could be worth over $1 million. If you do not have financial counsel, then definitely you should. This is a disclaimer that this is in no way financial advice. In fact, I am trying quite hard not to give any advice. This is a game made for fun and not to be taken seriously. Go do your own research and hire a real financial expert if you are looking for advice. Financial advisors make heavy use of calculators so people can understand their financial situation. Getting back to the game, I need to learn how to do these calculations and then gamify the process. Obviously, we need to take into account compound interest on savings, but what else matters? Let us take a look at some calculators on the web to learn how to think like a financier. This first one is from Merrill Company, Bank of America. It asks some basic questions about age, income, and savings. For example, consider a 45-year-old with $100,000 in earnings who is saving $18,000 per year. The calculator goes on to ask how much money they plan to spend in retirement, and of course they want the same $100,000 that they are earning now. It then expects them to pick an investment style. But I'm pretty sure that style does not have much to do with saving money. But let's keep going anyway. Merrill tells us how much we need, like in this case a whopping $3.1 million. And saving up almost $3 million still means a shortfall for retirement. I wonder, how is that possible? It basically says, you need to save more, up to an extra $1,004 per month. But it does not explain how or why, and its numbers are suspiciously precise. I can see why people hire a consultant instead of using this calculator. This calculator from retirementsimulation.com asks similar questions, but instead of investment style, it lets you modify the stock, bond, and inflation rates. Obviously, you get the best results if you set these to maximum, but that might not be realistic. The good part about this calculator is that it uses a Monte Carlo simulation, which is a fancy random number generator to estimate possible future results based on likelihood. Let's look at the results. Even assuming your savings and withdrawals are constant, the results vary wildly. It says this person would have somewhere between $0 and $8 million at age 70. Wow. I do not need a calculator to say that in the future you will have somewhere between $0 and $8 million. It also tells you the percentage chance you still have money at each age, which can be helpful. But I pointed out in my previous video, people are not just saving and spending robots. They're going to act differently depending if they were closer to broke or closer to having $8 million. In the 2010s, there was a FIRE movement about retiring early by saving a lot of money. The practitioners of FIRE attempted to save as much as possible, living as meager lives as possible. What happened to those people? Did they really retire early? Are they still living the lifestyle? Anyway, there is a complex calculator for FIRE on their website, but it shows the same thing. Either you will be rich or you'll go broke, seemingly based on luck. This one predicts that the person will have between negative $300,000 or up to $4 million. Again, you do not need a calculator to tell you that. I am detecting a pattern in these calculators, but let's keep going. PortfolioVisualizer.com is also a Monte Carlo simulation. It has a feature that I really like. It gives a calculation option which matches how people really behave. They call it the life expectancy-based annual withdrawal function, which assumes a person's spending is based on how much money they have and not just a fixed amount every year. This makes much more sense than assuming a fixed spending rate for the rest of your life. And it tells you how much you can spend instead of just asking you how much you want to spend. You input the usual parameters based on initial savings and age, plus you can put in specific assets. I'm going to pick total US stock market and some treasuries for this hypothetical 60-year-old with $1 million savings, and run the simulation. I'm going to first click the inflation button so we can see the results in today's dollars. Something really interesting happens here. Instead of having millions or going broke, it predicts a somewhat middle-of-the-road balance of a few $100,000. This makes much more sense for what someone might actually do, and it can be used prescriptively. If they are richer, then they can spend more, and if they are poorer, they need to be more frugal. If we scroll down some more, we can see what they can spend each year. Their annual spending still falls into a fairly wide range depending on the portfolio performance. It's a large range, but it is not so wide open as the other simulations. I like this way of thinking, but their implementation has one flaw and one drawback. The flaw is that it does not take into account compound interest when applying the withdrawal function. Acting like this for short time horizons makes sense, but it becomes inaccurate over time due to compound interest. This effect causes the large spending hump in the middle. Ideally, we would want to make spending flat over time. The second problem is that it only works if there is no more income. It does not take into account any future earnings. It does not tell a person working how much they should be spending or saving today. I think I should and must fix this for the game. I want the game to play working people and not just retirees. Let us look at one more calculator. This one is to consider the total amount of money a person earns over their life. We can calculate the present value of their total earnings. Many people may be surprised at how large the number is. For example, someone earning $80,000 per year over a 40-year career is going to earn over $1.3 million. So think about it. If you are still earning money, then you are probably richer than you think. I think the total lifetime earnings is a very valuable number, and we should be able to count this as part of someone's assets. This would allow us to calculate the life expectancy-based withdrawal, even for a person who is still working and earning money. There's no reason to distinguish your spending today from your spending in the future, regardless of whether you are working. For the game, this is a really important concept if we want to make a person's spending constant over their lives. If we combine their lifetime earnings with the constant spending function, like in the previous model, then I think we'll have some magic. One more calculator interesting to look at is called Rich, Broke, or Dead, on a website called Engaging Data. There is one feature I really like about this model, which is missing from the other ones. First, let me explain how it works. You enter the particulars as usual. For example, a 60-year-old with $1 million savings that we're going to calculate for the next 40 years. The interesting function is this allowance of up to a 50% reduction in spending in case bad things happen, like if your stocks tank below a certain threshold. The website does what it says. It shows your likelihood of being rich, broke, or dead in a very nice visualization with color codes and the percentages of the results. For example, this person has a 32% chance of going broke at age 80. The results seem very sensitive to the input parameters, like the threshold at which to reduce the spending. If I change from 50% threshold to 100%, then the chance of going broke decreases from 32% to 12% at age 80. What I learned is that a good calculator should take into account the chance of death, where in the financial world, dying is a good thing, as long as you don't go broke first. We should incorporate this to the game also, where dying before going broke counts as a win. How do we put all this together? As we can see, results from these calculators can be wildly different, especially the Monte Carlo simulations, due to the wild swings of savings which is invested in the stock market. I think the goal should be to try to get spending to be flat over a person's lifetime. Then we can tell a person how much they should be spending today and in the future. And we should try for the same answer regardless of whether they are working or retired. I will keep working on this goal and analysis in future videos while I make the game.